ผมก็อยากโชว์ครับกับบัวขาวเพราะว่าบัวขาวเขาเป็นซูเปอร์สตาร์
He'd love to fight, be a chance to fight Buakaw as well, because obviously he recognises Buakaw, very famous, big name, and he wants to try and take Buakaw, beat Buakaw, and obviously make himself more famous too.
ที่เป็นฮีโร่ของผมครับตอนนั้น
he had two of his big idols have been Kaosai Galaxy, a very famous international boxing world champion. I think he's one of the longest reigning world champions, or made the most title defenses. I think he was WBA world champion, international rules, and also Sanklai Sikruad. That's where he got his name from, Yod Sanklai. Sanklai was a very famous fighter back in the day, and he went on. He was at the gym. Yod Sanklai was at Sikruad gym in Boyai, and he was kind of like a hero. When he went to the gym, he was still fighting, and he went on to be his trainer. This guy was a famous Lumpini superstar back in the day.
สำหรับผมคงมีอะไรต้อง
Now he thinks more or less he's kind of, as for being a fighter himself, he's completely knows, more or less all there is to know. But what he studies now is his opponents. He's like, that's what he needs to study on and work on now, just looking and studying the opponents. Oh, I mean, there's so many great camps, and it doesn't necessarily always have to be a big name, state of the art. I mean, obviously you've seen Fairtex, fantastic facilities. They produce great fighters, but that's not necessarily, it has to be that way, I mean, you can go to some gyms out in the countryside and they've literally got nothing much in a very small ring, run down, a couple of bags to kick, but it's the people behind it, the trainers, the manager, and the boxers themselves that make the camps, Sanchai, he's basically right now, I mean, he's considered without a doubt the pound for pound #1 fighter in Thailand, without a doubt. Every fight he has to normally give up his opponents 3, 4, many times even 5 pounds in weight. Weighs in 5 pounds lighter in the morning, and often gives them a boxing lesson as well, even after they're losing that much weight. Three Lumpini titles in the past, former boxer of the year, you name it, he's been in with any of the good fighters, he's been in with them all, Sublime talent, he's a very skillful, he's got perfect balance, his brain's like a boxing computer, he's got every weapon in the book, as you can see there. Very skillful, very fast. He's basically got everything. 6 years old, he's had one fight already. I said, oh, did you win or lose? He said, no, I lost, but I won the heart of the crowd. He doesn't take a lot of damage. He very rarely comes out of a fight being bashed up, or so the longevity's there. You can go on a little bit longer than some of the guys that just walk forward, take 3 shots to land one.
ครับผมแสนชัยซอคิงสตาร์ครับผมอายุ
He's Sanchai Saw Kingstar, 27 years old, and he trains out of the 13 Coins gym in Ramanine Road.
ตอนเด็กๆซนซุกซนแล้วก็แถวหมู่บ้าน
When he was young, he was quite, he was like a normal kid, but around where he lived, there was lots of other fighters coming to Bangkok, making a name for themselves, Lumpini and Ratchaman, they were getting famous and making money, and he wanted to do that, help his family too.
ก็คือไฟแรกก็ชกที่บ้าน ที่โรงเรียนตัวเองนี้ครับ
His first fight he fought actually in his own school where he was, so he had lots of guys cheering him on, and first time he ever got any money in his hand as well. He got the chance to make money as well, have money, and he's like, I want more of this. That made him determined to become a fighter.
ครับผมก็เป็นนักมวยที่ชกฝีมือ
He's a southpaw. He likes fights as a southpaw, left kick, right, left punch. But primarily he's a very technical fighter. He likes to use the classic, the basic, all the techniques. He doesn't like to just go forward and have a tear up, and he likes to fight in a stylish way, using his brain, using all the techniques that there are.
ผมก็จินตนาการมาด้วยผมก็อยากทำอะไรที่มันที่
He said he likes it. It's like a classic Thai boxing technique from the olden days. He said he's the only fighter in Thailand that brave enough, or that's skilled enough to use that technique. He practiced it for about 2 years, and whenever he's fought in France and Japan, the crowd love it. It's like a classic technique. He loves to put the show on with these different types of technique.
ผมใช่ไหมครับเวลามีโปรแกรมนี้ใช่ไหมครับ
Whenever he has a fight, he's normally like the standards 2 weeks, 20 days, that kind of thing. But when he trains, he tends to, like in Thailand, it's easy because he knows what all the opponents are like. But very much he'll look for the technique of the fighter, and they'll work on that, tailor the training for that fight towards that fighter. For instance, if he's fighting a puncher, he'll work a lot on push kicks, keeping a high guard. If he's fighting a clinch fighter, he'll have to do a lot more grappling, that kind of thing. So he trains just to the opponent.
เป้าหมายตอนนี้ครับก็คือตอนนี้เป้าหมายการ
He's basically now he's more or less run out of opponents in Thailand. He wants to go and fight abroad now. Like we've said already, promote the sport, make a name for the sport around the world even more, and also he wants to make a gym for himself, go back and forth hopefully in the future between the two, promote Muay Thai around the world, and also build his own gym up and his fighters. Guys you've spoken to so far, I mean, Sanchai and Anawat, you're talking about probably 2 biggest names in Muay Thai right now. Anawat is maybe not as dominant as he was 2 years ago. He won the Sports Right of the Year, or two years in a row. Since then, his style is kind of like he takes a lot of punishment in his fights. He walks forward. It's hard work, so he's been a little bit tired in his last few fights. Ever since he got to one level, he had no one to fight. Everyone he fought was a lot bigger than him, so he kind of suffered a little bit by his own success. He's still at the top, but maybe not quite as dominant as he was. But Sanchai is without a doubt the best fighter in Thailand by a long way. He's pound for pound the best there is. I would say, my own opinion, pound for pound the best fighter in the world. That's the only setback he has. He'd be too small. K1 70 kilos, he could probably compete in it, but he'd lose out size-wise. And plus also a lot of his techniques are taken away from him. I mean, Sanchai's like a master technician. The way they rule the fights in K1, he'll get the guys, spin them around, throw them on the floor. It's not scoring. Jumping elbows. A lot of his techniques taken away from him there as well.